Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. In this video I'm going to show you the best ship in Star Wars Squadrons right now and how to set it up so you can dominate your lobbies. With that, let's get right into the video. Alright, so we're going to start off in the Imperial Hangar first. And a lot of videos you're going to see early on are going to be suggesting the Interceptor. Now the Interceptor is a very good ship. It's the easiest ship in the game to learn and learn the basics of the game. It's really easy to get the hang of. There's nothing fancy about the Interceptor. It's just an easy way to get yourself into the game. But when compared to ships like the Bomber, it is just outclassed in almost every way. That's why I'm recommending you start out with the Bomber. It's very easy to learn, and with a few upgrade points, you'll be able to dominate lobbies, and no one will be able to contest you. So as we talk about the components of the Bomber, the first point you're ever going to want to spend with the Bomber is the rotary cannon. You're going to start out with your normal laser cannon, which does a fine job for your first couple games before you can get level 2 and earn some points. Now, when you upgrade to the rotary cannon, it does have a small charge time. So how we're going to play with that is you're going to target people that are far out, around 13 to 1200 yards. You want to start charging up your cannon at that point and accelerate towards them. And as you come into range, your rotary cannon will be charged and ready to fire, and you can lead them on, or if they're coming straight at you, you can just utterly decimate them within seconds, and they will not even have a chance to either target you or shoot back. Now the next point I recommend you spending on is on an auxiliary, and that is to acquire the Goliath Missile. Now this missile is a medium homing missile, which means it does not turn very fast, but when it explodes, it has a huge damage radius. And how you want to use this missile is in open combat. So as an opponent is either fleeing out of the middle of the map or coming into the map from spawn. On the outside of the map, there's not much debris for the Goliath missile to hit, and this isn't very effective on the inside of the map because of all the debris. It cannot turn very sharp and it will hit debris. So make sure you're using this on the outside of the map where there's plenty of room for it to turn. The next point I recommend spending on is the hull. Now the reinforced hull on this one is amazing. The max health boost that it gives you will increase your survival rate tenfold. Now it does have a few drawbacks in acceleration and maneuverability, but we're going to counteract those with our next point being the unstable engine. Now this will help us get a max speed so you can reach, recharge stations, and get some health back faster, and it will help bring a little bit of acceleration back with just a minus 20% health. So you still have added health and a little bit slower acceleration and maneuverability. It also has the perk of a massive explosion on death. Now, when you do die in the Bomber, it's usually to a very small ship targeting you from behind. And when they're doing that, they're usually going to go through the space where you just died as they're chasing you. And when you die with the Bomber, it creates a massive explosion, and you'll get many, many kills from death explosions. Now, the next point I recommend spending, which is the last point you'll even need to upgrade on this one, is your left auxiliary, is your Seeker Mine. Now this mine isn't the strongest, but it's really good at getting those pesky little ships to stop following you. How you want to use this is if you want to bait them into a small compact area in the middle of the map and drop it. Now the mine will lock on and chase enemy starfighters that are close to you and following you. And it does 900 damage, which is enough to kill small ships. Now with this class setup and a little bit of practice, you'll be able to destroy lobbies. Now, let's take a look at the Republic Hangar. Alright, so on the Republic side, the choice between ships becomes a lot harder. To start with, the Bomber just isn't as good to its counterpart on the Imperial side. It's a little bit slower, and it doesn't quite have the range that the other ship does. That makes the Interceptor a much more appealing choice, but in my opinion, the Bomber still outweighs it, but it's a lot closer of a fight. Now with the Bomber and the components, a lot of them are the same. But since it's slower and doesn't have as much range, we did have to make a few changes. So starting with, you're going to keep your primary weapon the same and both your auxiliaries the same. Now at the hull is where we start to see a change. Instead of using the reinforced hull, we're going to be switching to the dampener hull. It's going to make us a little bit faster, and it's going to make it harder for enemies to lock onto us, which means more survival time to turn around and shoot them back. Now, another change we had to make is the engine. Instead of using the unstable engine, we're going to use just a normal basic engine. And the reason we can't use the unstable engine is the max shield decrease. The 20% max shield is huge, and it will cause you to die. Now, another option on these is shields. This bomber and all Republic bombers they have a shield component. Now, my personal choice on this is the standard shield right now, until changes are made to where maybe the overloaded shield or the conversion shield are more viable. I would recommend sticking with the deflector shield. This ship won't perform quite as well as its counterpart, but it will still dominate a lobby if you are accurate. You just have to be a little bit more precise and a little bit more careful with your positioning with this ship, but it can still do the job. And after this, I'm going to be playing a gameplay with a Imperial ship, an Imperial bomber, to hopefully answer questions more in depth of where I use the ship, where I'm positioned, how I use each auxiliary, where I'm engaging at. And it was a good gameplay, so hopefully that'll help answer questions. And if you haven't actually played the game, it'll show you what it's like to play in multiplayer. So, until then, see you in the next video.
Titan 2 in formation.